morning, Kathy, Terry. How you doing? Welcome to Pittwater. Yes, we are starting in about 5-10 minutes. 5 minutes. Yes, Jessica. Hi, up there in Seattle. Can you hear me all right, folks? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me, please. That would be much appreciated. Oh, Jessica, you are on the ball. Thank you so much. I'll just wait for a few more minutes before we get started. Jan Christine, good to see you again. Thank you so much for being here at Pittwater. We're on the Palm Beach Wharf today, and we'll be waiting to heading off on the Mara, which has already arrived. It's waiting for us down there. Vivian, how you doing? There's the Mara just hiding behind the bollards, and we're heading off over to the Basin across there. You see it in the distance. That'll be our boat trip. It's about a 15-minute trip across. You never know what you're going to see on the way over. Hey, Viviana, good to see you. All right, and well, we will be getting underway in about 5 minutes properly. We will. I'll give you a bit of an introduction to this area. It's rather nice. It's a bit overcast today. We haven't got any rain yet. Not yet, but it's forecast for about lunchtime. The tour should be finished by the time the rain arrives. At the moment, the clouds are quite high, but there is rain coming from the northwest. I spotted on my radar this morning. But we should be fine for most of the trip. We can be indoors if it does start to rain, and well, we're all right with this. So let me come down here a little bit, and we'll turn the camera around so you can see me. There we are. That's me, Richard, and I'm here at Palm Beach. And just to prove that, I'll let you see the sign above my head. There we are. Welcome to Palm Beach. Yes, I'm here with Hago, and looking forward to another trip out across the water, and one of my favorite stretches of water, Pittwater, that we'll be on today. When I did this trip last time, I had the boat to myself. It doesn't look like there's many people coming. There's a guy on a bike just coming up behind me. Oh no, he's thinking about it. The vessel you see just across there, the Escapade, that's one of the fantasy vessels. That heads off to the Central Coast on a regular trip from here. It's about half an hour, 3/4 of an hour by sea from here. If you go by road, it takes 3 to 4 hours. I hope you can hear me all right. Hi, Nancy. Thank you so much for being here. And that's the vessel, one just like it, that we'll be heading out to do our whale watching in September. That's the vessel that takes us out for whale watching. So that's a pretty exciting trip. If you haven't done that yet, please book for it. Hey, Kathy, how you doing? Hello to you in Dayton, Ohio. This is Richard in Palm Beach, Sydney, Australia. And just to prove it, there I am. And as you can see above my head, welcome to Palm Beach. Yes, indeed. We have a nice day ahead. I hope you enjoy it as well and stick with me. And please, I love getting questions. I love being asked about the place. I know quite a bit about it, especially its history. I'm not quite so good on flora and fauna. Oh, I'm getting a bit better as we go along. So thank you, Kathy, for being here. And please, folks, if you haven't yet followed me, that would be much appreciated. It's my birthday on the 4th of September, and I promised myself I'll do everything to get 500 followers by the 4th of September, my birthday. And so far, we're not doing too badly. I think we've got 480, so that would be lovely if you would follow me or persuade your friends to follow me. That would be great. Palm Beach, Australia was excited to see that this is there and not in the States. Well, no, it's quite different. Thank you so much, Jan Christine. 2 days to go. I'm not actually doing a tour on my birthday. It's a Sunday. And it's also Father's Day here. So I get ripped off a bit because every year, when my birthday comes around, Father's Day comes around as well. So you get 2 for the price of 1. So people think they can give me 1 present instead of 2. Yeah, it's a bit of a bit of a rot having your birthday the same day as Father's Day. Anyway, I shouldn't complain. I'm very lucky to have people. Thank you, Jessica. That's sweet of you. It's like having your birthday on Christmas Day, isn't it? Same thing. Well, there we go. All right. Let's, I think we've got a good crowd here now. Please, as I said, folks, if you haven't yet followed me, I'd really appreciate it if you'd do that. The vessel's leaving in about 10 minutes. I want to tell you a bit more about this area before we start. Let's have a little look across over there. I'll spin the camera around. First, when is Mother's Day? I think it's in September, Kathy. My mum's actually back in Wales. She's 95 now and still going strong. Yes, indeed. So I have to give her a call. Thank you, Jessica. My mum says she's just outside Cardiff in South Wales, 95. I talked to her on the phone the other day. She's still going strong, still gardening, still walking to the shops, and very, very sharp, I can tell you. She still knows what I'm up to all these years later. Hey, Nancy, thank you. So let's have a little look around. This water that we're on, first of all, let me just welcome you and tell you that the land that we're on is the land of the Ku-ring-gai people, the Aboriginal people who've lived here for many thousands of years. And the tribe that lived in the area we're in is the Garigal people, and we pay respect to the people who've lived in these lands for many, many thousands of years. We acknowledge the fact that they are the traditional owners of this land, and we are appreciative of them having looked after this land for so many years. Now, I was actually hoping to have today a young Aboriginal woman who lives close to me called Corey, and she was hoping to come with me and give us a talk on some of the flora and fauna that we see over here. Sadly, she's got a family problem and she can't make it this time, but I'm hoping she'll come on another one very soon. Hi, Linda in Sierra Vieira, Arizona. Thank you so much for joining us. So, yes, we are on Pittwater. We are located about 40 kilometres north of Sydney, where you see the Opera House and the Harbour Bridge, the central business district of Sydney. We're about 40 kilometres north of Sydney. We are on an area of beauty. Certainly, if you look across there, you'll see the Ku-ring-gai National Park, named after the Ku-ring-gai people. And we'll have a better look at that as we cross over. But on this side of the harbour, we have quite a lot of residences, as you can see up there on the hill, right the way down. There's a very lovely, swinging around a bit, very lovely restaurant across there called the Barrenjoey House. It's been there for many, many, many years. A very nice place to sit in the evening and have dinner. Hey, Tarek and the Bears, Ollie and Jimmy, I'm glad to have you back again. I know how much you like your boat trips, especially the Bears. Thank you for being here. So yes, this is the residential side of Pittwater. And believe me, it is residential. There are some very expensive houses on this side, and we'll see more of them as we head out. Of course, there's also the boats. I want to show you a few pictures. We are going on a boat trip today to the Basin, which is a well-known camping ground. It's been a camping ground for many, many years. If you see down there, you see where it says the Gonzales? Well, the Gonzales, that's the Gonzales boating services nowadays. It has been there for a long time. But the Gonzales family were a Portuguese family who came here as fishermen back in the 19th century. And they survived here in the early days when there was hardly anybody here at all by fishing, and they bring their fish into in here. And the beach that we're on is called Snapperman Beach. They want another boat ride. Okay, well, we'll give them one. So as I said, the Gonzales family is a Portuguese name, and they're descendants of those fishermen, early fishermen back in the 19th century. They are now offering boat services, boat maintenance services, and one of the ferries is actually the other ferry, the sister vessel to the Mara that we'll be on, is up there on the ramp at the moment. I want to show you a picture because I was explaining this has been an area where people have been coming for many, many years, And back in the 1950s, this photograph was taken of a family from a place in Sydney called Hornsby. Do you see that? Now, look at all the gear they've got. They were heading off to go camping across at the Basin, and they had probably driven 4 or 5 hours to get to there. And they're all lined up on the ramp over there in front of the where you're looking at right now in that picture. And they're waiting for the ferry to come in and pick them up and take them out. And I've got another lovely picture of this particular family. It was an exciting time for them. We take it for granted nowadays, but there they are. There they are on the ferry, heading out from Palm Beach, heading off over to the Basin. Exactly the trip that we're going to be doing. Hi, Pascalina, how you doing? Yes, there they are, heading off over exactly what we're going to be doing in a minute. And they all look very excited and waving, and I really like that photograph very much. And they're basically heading off just from down here, where we are now. All right, let's wander down to make sure the vessel doesn't leave without us. This is the Mara, and that's the vessel I think will be taking us across the water. It's a lovely old timber-framed, timber-hulled vessel. It's been plying around here for many, many years. And I'll just pull back on it so you can see it better. And that's the vessel we'll be heading off on. The guys are having a bit of a chat in there at the moment. And then looking across the water, I just wandered down to here, trying to get my feet wet. I hope you can hear me all right. I'll just do another little shot behind me. Those of you who have arrived may just want to see my ugly mug. There we are, that's me. And my name is Richard, and I'm going to be your Hago tour guide for the trip across to the Basin today. I always love doing this trip, partly because I don't have to walk too much. Although I did have to run once when I thought I was going to miss the ferry coming back. So yes, I'll be taking you across there today, and we should see some wildlife. We'll certainly should see wallabies, and we have seen joeys, which are baby wallabies in the pouches. This time of the year it's very quiet here. We've just gone into spring. We're in the second day of spring today, so there won't be many people over there. It looks chilly. No, I was in two minds. I've got my Hago t-shirt on underneath, as you can see. Well, you can see there we are. You can see the white part of it anyway. But because we're going on the water, it will get a bit chilly out there. So I put my extra jumper on. But no, it's warming up. In fact, it's even quite warm last night. So we're doing fine. 21 days to autumn, yes, indeed. I think we're in spring now. I think the 1st of September is supposed to be into spring, if I've got that right. Anyway, it is warming up, no question of that. Let me just give you another shot around. You can see the water that we're on. So this is called Pittwater. It's named after William Pitt the Younger, who was the Prime Minister of England at the time when a number of explorations were sent down to these parts and sponsored by William Pitt to see what was down here. The first acknowledged European sailor, we're just about to get on the boat, Katie, we're fine. They were saying William Pitt sent a number of explorations down here. Probably the most famous one was Captain James Cook, who sailed around the world and navigated and explored. He sailed past this entrance in 1792, I beg your pardon, 1772, and he called it Broken Bay. He described it as Broken Bay. He didn't really come in. But then later, Captain Arthur Phillips, who was involved in the first developments in Sydney. Sydney Harbour is about... Oh yes, pirates. I'll tell you about pirates in a minute, Kathy. The first explorers who went into Sydney Harbour, called Port Jackson in those days, He sailed up here looking for land that would be suitable for agriculture and also looking for fresh water. And he sailed into this harbour in 1788, and he absolutely fell in love with it. He described it as the best stretch of water he'd ever seen in his life, and large enough to hold the entire English naval fleet. He spent a couple of nights here, and also a chap by the name of Matthew Flinders came in here and was more interested in drawing the coastline. He explored the area as well. But right through the 19th century, that's from about the 1800s, onwards, there were very few people living up here. You ask about pirates, Kathy, and that's a very good question. Though it certainly was a very popular place for pirates. They came in here a lot, bringing in contraband, dumping it on some of the little beaches that are around here, and then they would sail away and the contraband would be collected and taken into Sydney. We're just about to get on the boat now, so I need to focus on what we're doing. The other interesting thing about this point is that they were bringing convicts in here to Sydney in the 19th century. These were convicts who'd been found guilty of crimes in Britain, often very, very menial crimes, stealing a handkerchief or taking some food from a shop. That earned you 7 years transportation to life here in Australia. And they were brought into Sydney Harbour in the main, and they were held there. But of course these poor people who were brought all the way across the world had no idea where they were. They didn't know the geography, and they had heard rumours that if they were to head north from Sydney Harbour, they would come to China, and they would find Asia, and they would find boats that would sail back to Europe. So a number of them started heading off out of, running away basically from Sydney, and they only got as far as here because apart from anything else, it was a huge stretch of water to cross. So they ended up settling in this area. So for many years, back in the 1820s, 1830s, 1840s, this was quite a dangerous area to be in. There were pirates here. There was a lot of smuggling going on, but also there was some fishing and there was some farming, but it was considered to be a long way from anywhere. Hello, Sarah. How are you doing? All right, I think we're going to get on the boat now. We're just waiting to be given permission to board. The crew are having a little training session there. So please, as we go along, Kathy, I hope that answers your question. Yes, it was, because it was completely there was no police, there was no military up here in the early part of the 19th century, and it wasn't until about 1840, 1850 that they put the first customs people up here. And if you come on my one of my other tours, I do a tour, a Palm Beach sunrise tour, and I'll show you here. I'll show you a map here. Have a look at this. Have I got it or not? Oh, silly me, I didn't put it on. Anyway, we do a trip up to the lighthouse, and also a trip. And if you have a look at my Pittwater Playground Facebook page, which you can find if you follow the information on there. You can take a snap of that if you want to and look at it later. You go to my Facebook page, you'll see a map of the area. I thought I had one here to show you, but I don't. But there's one on my Facebook page, and you can see the address of that just at the bottom of that card. So we're just about to board, so bear with me while we get on. How you doing? Pay on there? Thank you, mate.
Funny doing.
All right, we're just wandering onto the boat. Hello, how are you?
Yeah,
sorry, I'm just filming. I'm up the front here. All right. Well, let's go and find a good spot at the front here. Maybe get ourselves settled down. All right, here we are. That was easy. We're now on the boat, and we will be heading out very soon. So yeah, we're on the good ship Myra, a beautiful timber frame boat. It's been plying these waters for 40 or 50 years now. Very reliable. And just looking along, this is one of the lovely parks in the area. Yeah, it's cleaning up. We had some terrible storms here inland a couple of months ago, and an awful lot of mud and bits of furniture and all sorts of other stuff were washed down here. So it was quite muddy for a while. Even when we did our whale watching trip a couple of months ago, it was muddy. But it's cleaning up now, and it's starting to come right for summer. If the sun was on us now, we've got a cloud above us. There's not much sun. If the sun was shining, it would be even bluer. But there we go. It's pretty clean, pretty lovely. And just looking off there, all wood is the boat. Yes, it's a timber frame boat. I can't tell you the technical details. It looks like the cabin is metal, but the hull is timber. So you can see, looking around, some lovely houses there on the beach. Hi, Cindy in Missouri. Thank you so much for joining us. We're at Pittwater, about 40 miles north of Sydney, Central Business District, and it's a cloudy day. It's about 12 degrees centigrade. What's that? About 45 degrees Fahrenheit. And we're heading off over to the basin. I'll just go and have a look at the other side. You can see the catamaran is just heading off over there. You can see it. That goes to the central coast. That's about a 3/4 of an hour trip. We'll see a bit more of that. It heads off, and that's off in that direction. Richard, I don't know enough about it. I could probably ask. My guess is in the 1950s. So there we are. There's the signal. We're heading off. We're looking across there at the Gonzales boat services. And if you look, the houses are built right up there on the side of the hill, all demanding lovely views. If you look across there, more houses. It's really nice because when these houses were built, the law was that you could not take down any native trees. You had to build between the trees. And that's why it's also beautifully green. At night time, you know that there's lots of houses here because you can see the lights. But in daytime, the greenery really takes over. I'm just looking out to sea there. You'll see an island. Now, somebody might tell me, what does that island remind you of in terms of its shape? Anybody want to make a guess at that? We'll have a look at that. You see it there? Just in the center of the picture. Anybody want to guess what that looks like? Not quite, no. No, sir, not a whale. You've got to use your imagination a bit, I agree. Not a whale, no. Not a bull. Who said Gibraltar? Jan Christian, I think you've been on one of my tours before. A lion, yes, you're right, Susan. It's called Lion Island. And you're actually right, Jan Christine, because that island, when it was first, what a coincidence, if you didn't remember that from my previous tour, when Captain Arthur Phillips spotted that island for the first time, he called it Elliot Island because it reminded him of Gibraltar. And Governor Elliot was in fact the Governor General of Gibraltar at the time that Phillips was out here. So he named it in honor of Captain Elliot. Captain Elliot. But when in recent years, of course, the locals didn't really know what Gibraltar looked like, and they thought it looked like a lion. So it's now called Lion Island. it's a nature colony, a nature reserve. You're not really supposed to land there. It's got colonies of penguins and other wonderful wildlife, cormorants, and it's rather an important setting here. All right, I'm just going to give the gentleman my card so I can pay. I'm talking.
Return?
Pardon? Your return, please. Yes.
Adult return.
Thank you. Yep. Oh, senior reserve. Do you do that? Do you do seniors? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm just getting my.
There you go.
How's that? All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. There you
Where are
are.
you off to?
I'm going to the Basin.
Basin, okay. There you go.
Thank you, mate. All right, we've paid the money, paid for my ticket, and we're now legal, which is nice. There you can see the catamaran just heading off to the Central Coast, and the Central Coast is around Lion Island in that direction. If we look just back here, we can probably see it. You can see the lighthouse there. That's Barrenjoey Lighthouse. I do a tour just up to that lighthouse, and at the base of it, that's where they had the custom house built in about 1840 to start dealing with those pirates and all the bad people who brought in illegal contraband here at night. The land you're looking at there now is called the Ku-ring-gai National Park, and that's West Head. It's a lovely view from up there, and I might take a trip up there one day so you can see the view. It's a long drive. To get to there, it would take me about 2 hours to drive from here. But it is worth it, I think, if the views are so wonderful. And then as you work your way down here, all of this is national park. There are all the little beaches on the waterfront here. That's Little Mackerel Beach straight across. They all can only be reached by water. They can't be reached by road. There are tracks in the park, but that's it. And then I'm going to move around here. Please, if you have any questions, please ask me. I hope you're hearing me all right still. And heading off across, looking down south now, is the Pittwater. As you can see, it's a huge stretch of beautiful water. There are many boats and moorings and marinas. And looking around there, that's Careel Bay, the area on the left there. That's where I am fortunate enough to live. So it's only about a 5-minute drive to Palm Beach. As you can see, this is really a residential area. It's not an area, although we do have people coming here as visitors and holiday makers, it's not really geared up like the Gold Coast or Palm Beach in Florida with all of the high rises. We don't have any of those high-rise buildings. Almost every building is either 1 or 2 stories maximum. And I hope you're hearing me still. Nobody's saying anything to me. You're enjoying the view, I hope. Yes, that's Careel Bay. So it's a very residential area in the main. Thank you, Kathy. Good stuff, Laurie. I hope you're enjoying the view. Pittwater, and then right down the end there, as far as you can look, that's an area called Mona Vale, and that's where I do my dog park walk. We go down there and we look at the dogs at the beautiful dog park at Bayview. That's one of my other tours as well, because I know so many voyagers do like to see the dogs. All right, let's spin around here again. I hope you're getting the views in. So this is the Pittwater. This is what I call my Pittwater playground. Lots of... oh yes, it's a very sociable place. People like to go out. Having coffee together is probably the the most popular pastime. Lots of coffee shops, lots of things to do: boating, swimming, sailing, fishing. Look, there's lots of lovely places to live around the world. There's no doubt about that. This is definitely one of them. But there are many beautiful places, and it's not a competition. Every country has its top spots. I think this is one of them for my part of the world. I prefer to visit a place like here. Well, Kathy, that's my view as well. Personally, I can't stand sort of the modern tourist places. It's just not for me. My idea of a holiday is to go somewhere very different, like one of the Asian countries, or somewhere where it's peace and quiet, and you can walk in the bush and cook food on a billy, and just generally relax and be away from it all. I'm not into lots of noise. I've in my life I've lived in big cities like New York and London and Rome and Hong Kong, but quite frankly, I like it here. This is my sort of place that I like to call home. There, I believe I would, yeah. Some lovely boats, yes indeed. And just looking in that direction, that's my house is just down on that foreshore that we're looking at now, if you want to come and say hello. Yeah, well, I've been to a number of the big I love the American people very much. Most of them. I won't get into that one, but I do. I've always had lovely welcomes in America, and but it can be very noisy, and all the big motorways and things. So yeah, I've been there, done that. I prefer to be out and about when there's very little traffic. The quiet life, that suits me very well. All right, we're working our way into the basin now, as you can see it in front of us. Look at this is the Kringai National Park, and some people have been fortunate enough to build little houses and holiday homes up here in the trees. We're going to get a look at a few of them as we go in. This is not only a boat service, it's also the mail service. They ship groceries and so on across to the people who live on this side of Pittwater. But you can be sure that just about everybody over here has their own vessel as well, whether it's a little tinny, a little boat as we call them, or it's something a bit larger. They use that to get around as well. Hi Katie, hi Susanna. Please folks, if you haven't yet followed me, please follow me. I'd appreciate it. It's my birthday in 2 days' time, and I'm hoping to get to 500 followers by my birthday on the 4th of September. So give me my birthday present. If you haven't followed me yet, please follow me. I would be much appreciated. This is actually my last tour before my birthday on the 4th. So please, if you haven't followed me, I would very much appreciate it. That would be so good. Thank you. And if you haven't, if you are able to as well, thank you, Joy. That's great. If you haven't yet, if you are able to leave a tip, that would be much appreciated. I did have to pay to come on this trip today, so thank you very much. Oh, happy birthday from the Bears. Oh, that is wonderful. So thank you the Bears very much. Thank you, Ollie and Jimmy. That is much appreciated. Yep, so that would be good if you are able to leave a tip to cover my fare on the boat. That would be fine. All right, we're coming into the first little stop now. As you can see, there is somebody waiting. Maybe they're waiting to get on the vessel. Thank you, Joy Dell. That's so sweet of you. I do appreciate it. Normally when my tours don't have any cost attached, everything that I get tipped goes to a charity here. But when I have to spend money on the tour, obviously I like to cover my costs if possible. And that's all I ask. All right, so there we are. We're coming in to a little wharf here called Bennett's, and the people who live in the little houses up there behind us.
Hey, how you going?
How you doing? Sorry, I'm filming you. Hope you don't mind. You give them I'm talking to people around the world. Give them away. There we are. There's the lady who lives locally. They're all in America.
Oh.
There we are.
We have an American living over here.
What? Really? Where is she from?
I'm not exactly sure which state she's from, but she does live over here with an Australian woman. They got married.
Right, very good. Isn't that super? They may not hear what you said because my mic's on me here. I'll tell them what you said. The lady, what's your name?
My name's Claire.
Claire. I was just talking to Claire there on the wharf. Do you see her there? Oh, you're from the UK. You said, oh, wait. Claire was just saying there's an American lady living here, but she's not sure which state she's from, because all of these people were saying how lovely it would be to live here.
So I've been lucky enough to grow up here.
You grew up here. Isn't that wonderful?
Family holiday house. So I went home to school and came here every weekend.
All right. This lady Claire, thank you, Claire. She grew up here, so she knows it back to front, inside out. You may not have heard what she was saying because my mic's on my lapel here, but that was she was saying this. There's an American lady living in one of the houses here. She came over here for a trip, fell in love with it, and was able to come back and settle here. How about that? How about that? Sirac in the UK. Good to see you. I know it's late in the UK now, but it's getting on for midnight. So thank you, Sirac. Anybody there from the UK, and my Canadian friends too. Thank you so much for being here, and of course my American friends. And if you have, yes, isn't that amazing? I've lived here for about 30 years now, so I'm doing all right. See all the little tinnies there on the side of the beach there? Those are the little boats they use to get back to the mainland on. Yeah, just past midnight, yeah. They go. Those are the little boats that they travel to get to the mainland on. And you can see the beautiful scenery. And as we get closer, I hope you'll start to appreciate the peace and quiet we have here, because this is the most beautiful, peaceful place, and I hope you'll experience that when we get to the basin and start walking around there. I do tend to talk a lot, so I'm sorry about that. I should really just be quiet and let you enjoy the peace and quiet of the basin, because that's what I enjoy. Now I want to show you a couple more pictures. Now that's a drawing done of the basin around about 1880, 1890. Thank you, Katie. That's a rather lovely pen and ink drawing. How the basin looked. I've got a couple more like that I'll show you at the right time. But this has been an area that has been popular with boaties, with sailors, since about the 1880s, 1890s. It was a good place to come and anchor and moor, especially if the weather on the off the coast was bad. It was a great place to come and spend an evening, spend a night. Thank you, Katie. That's very sweet of you. I do appreciate it. So it's become a popular place for boaties for many, many years. And in the summer months, it's full of boats. People come here, and in fact, the looking across there, the camping ground, as we're going to be walking around there, that's also pretty full of people over the summer months. But this time of the year, Rose, we are about 40 kilometres north of Sydney, on the Pittwater. Oh, I don't know why that is, Sirac. Anybody like to help Sirac find the follow button? There usually is, isn't there? I'm not sure why Sirac can't find it. Thank you, Cheryl. That's so kind of you. Yes, so looking across there, that's where the camping ground is. But we've got one other wharf to stop at before we get to the basin. And we're heading across this side. Of course, we're spring now, so we're starting to see spring flowers. Nancy, what brought me to the area? Well, I work for a company, a multinational company called Unilever, and I was working for them around the world, in various places in New York and in Hong Kong and in London. I also worked for them in Bangladesh, believe it or not. So I visited a number of places, and then I was offered a position with them down here in New Zealand to start with, and then I came. They brought me over to here to Sydney. And I just fell in love with the area. I'd already explored it, and I asked them to find me a house up here on the northern beaches, looking down on Bilgola Beach, which is another of my tours. If you have a look, I do a tour of my favourite beach, which is Bilgola Beach. And apart from anything else, if you go on that tour, you'll get to see the house that Dolly Parton owned. How exciting. Yes, anyway, so that's what happened. And then after 4 years here, yes, that's right, Jen. Yes, after 4 years, they asked me to move on. They wanted me to go and work for them in Beijing, in China. And I'd been there. I was fine with Beijing, but my family wasn't. My son said to me, "What's the surf like in Beijing, Dad?" And I had to say to him, "It's not very good, mate." So we decided we didn't really want to move on. And pretty much when you work for a big multinational, they do look after you very well, but they also expect you to jump when they say jump, and we weren't prepared to move from here to Beijing as a family. So we put down our kit bags here and decided to stay. Yes, surfing was very important, still is to my son. These people are waiting for the boat here. Looks like they're heading back to the mainland. And this is Bonnie Doon. Hi, how are you? Sorry, I'm filming for an American audience who are watching live. Give them away. There we are, some lovely people there waiting for the boat. They're all in the States and the UK, watching live. They are? Pardon? A long jump. There we are. Some more people here are very friendly and very happy. They're all saying hello to you. Looks like they're not sure if they're getting on the boat. Oh, yes, they are going to get on the boat. There we are. And this is where they've spent the night at Bonnie Doon. And sorry, Lizzie, I did say Canada. I'm pretty sure I said Canada anyway. I'm sorry if I missed Canada. I love Canada, Leslie. I spent a very wonderful holiday just before COVID set in at in Vancouver Island and Vancouver, and really enjoyed it. So there you are. This is called Bonnie Doon. How about that? And look at those rocks over there. That's a nice postcard, I think. Yeah. Look at the texture on those rocks. How about that? What time is it here? It's about 9:30 in the morning. 9:30 in the morning. Look at those resting against each other there. Please, if you do get any good postcards, please put them on my Facebook page. I'd love you to do that and join it at the same time. My Facebook page is there, and I can give you again the address of my Facebook page if you look at that. There it is. Take a postcard of that. I'd love to see your picked postcards on there. And then another little beach across there. I'm pulling back. All right. So if you see in front of you there, you'll see a sort of a metal barrier. Beyond that's the inner basin. Boats aren't allowed to actually sail in there because to protect the environment, there are a number of interesting Australian native animals, including a beautiful pair of sea eagles that we do often see here. So you can only get in there by kayak, and I'm fortunate I have kayaks, and when I come over here in my kayak, I just pull it up onto the sand and then pull it around the metal, and then off I go. That's a very good point, Sirac. The other reason that barrier is there is because, yes, there are sharks in the water here, but with the barrier there, it's very, very safe for the children and people generally to swim on the inner basin. And we'll try and get a look at the inner basin. Unfortunately, I've tried to film there before, and the reception is not very good. So we may have trouble seeing it, but please be assured there is a stretch of water and a beach beyond that barrier, and it's very safe for swimming. Generally, it's pretty safe for swimming everywhere. The last shark attack was a number of years ago. They tend to not attack unless you're really unlucky. But you know, you can be 100% certain if you are swimming in certain areas where there are shark nets, then you'll be absolutely safe. All right, we're coming into the basin now. This is where we'll be getting off and going for a walk around. Looks like there's a party of school children here. Probably they've been walking overnight, and maybe they've got their tents with them. I don't know, or maybe they stayed here. But looks like they've had a night out, and they are now ready to get back on the boat to go home. They're all wrapped up pretty warm. So this is coming into the basin. Hi Joyce, thank you so much for joining us. If I've missed anybody, hi Komugi, thank you so much for joining us. There we are. Look, they got their packs on their backs. They've been sleeping out camping overnight. Isn't that a wonderful thing for kids to do? Hi, I'm filming. Say hello to America. And Canada. Yeah, there we go. Thank you. There you are. They all said hello to you. Yep, looks like they're a little bit tired, I'd say. They've had a pretty heavy night. All right, I'm going to swing around now because we're going to be getting off. Let these people. Thank you. Yeah, looks like they're keen to get home. Thanks, matey.
Okay, this is the Basin.
Yeah. Hi, guys. Thanks for giving them a wave. They all said hello. There we are. Welcome to the Basin. The adults. They want to know if the adults were surviving. There they are. There they are. They're off on their boats. All right. They're off, and let's have a look at the Basin. Because it looks as if we've got it to ourselves. I think the adults were having a good time. They seemed very happy there. So there is the Basin. Welcome to the Basin. You'll see ahead of you there, it says the Ku-ring-gai. That's the Aboriginal tribe who lived in this land for many years. The Ku-ring-gai High Storm, the Ku-ring-gai Chase National Park. Try saying that. Ku-ring-gai, the Aboriginal people who are the ancestral owners of this land. Now, we're going to go in and have a wander around. I'll be keeping going as long as my battery keeps filming. I want to show you some wallabies. I'm pleased to say the wallabies are here despite the presence of the kids, which is good news. And you see the distance there, the inner basin that I mentioned to you before. The problem is I've walked across in that direction and already the actual reception isn't so good. I'm looking at the bars now. Can you still hear me all right? Can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear me? Good, thank you. I'm going to walk in that direction a bit, but I know it'll start to get a little bit dodgy. So I'm watching the barrier and I'm staying here. But that is the inner basin across there. Thank you, thank you. And you can see the wallabies grazing. The good thing about coming this time of the year is that the wallabies are down here grazing because there's not many people or no people here at all. In the summer, they tend to go back into the bush, the bush which is there, up there, and hide up there. I'm just going to go in for it now. I'll zoom in, I promise you. Here we go. Where are you, mate? I know you're there somewhere. There we are. So there's a wallaby. They're a smaller version of the kangaroo. A bush wallaby, they're called. And you often see them here with their joeys in their pouches. I'm just looking around to see if I can see any joeys here today. There you are. Now those are the birds that you can hear. They're probably butcher birds. There's a number of fantails. One just went across the front of our picture here. I'm just going to go in. Generally, they're not bothered. Hi, Mary Lou. So there is a bush wallaby having a bit of a look at us now. And they're much more interested in grazing than in... I'm going to keep walking in this direction a bit. I'm going to head over towards the water. Hi, Calgary. Hi, Cheryl in West Virginia. We are at, those of you who just arrived, we are at the Basin. We're about 40 kilometres north of Sydney. That's all right, Cheryl. Thank you. It's good that you're here. Yeah, we're at the basin. We've just done half of the boat trip, and I'm going to wander through here and hopefully get closer to some of the wallabies that are on the ground here. I want to see if I can find a joey for you. We have seen joeys here in the past. Yeah, the signal's not good. The signal's not good. But there, looking through there, you can see the basin, the inner basin. And that's the place where you could, somebody asked me about sharks and where was it safe to swim. Well, that's where you'd go if you wanted to swim. So for those of you who've just joined us, you've missed the first half of the boat trip, but we hopefully will get here for another one. We'll be heading back in about half an hour on the boat, on the next one that arrives. And I want to tell you a few interesting stories about this basin. As I said, they have been coming here for many years. There we are. There we are. Let's see if I want to get a view of that. Yeah. There we are. How about that? There's a wild bush wallaby, quite happily grazing, not bothered at all by me here, which is the lovely thing about if you can interact with nature and they're not too worried about you, not too bothered with you. I can see some more down here, so I'm going to... What is the temperature here? It's going up to about 15, 16 degrees centigrade. Okay, walk back to this higher area, which I think will give us better. Yeah, there we are. Well, it's actually a wallaby. There's actually a wallaby. We'll see a few more further down here. No, you don't feed the wallabies. They are able to feed themselves quite happily from all of the nature that's around them, the berries, the grasses. It's not encouraged to feed wildlife here at all. The birds that come to my garden, I feed them sunflower seeds and mealworm, which are good for them. Bread is not good for wildlife. Now, obviously, they might scrounge. Hi, Louise in Holly, Michigan. Thank you so much for being here. I want to tell you a little story about Australia that you may not be aware of. Back in the 1890s, Australia was actually 5 different states. It wasn't one country at all. It was 5 different states. You had Western Australia, you had South Australia, you had Melbourne, you had New South Wales, where we are, and you also had Queensland. And back in the 1890s, there was efforts being made to try and bring all the different states together as one nation. And in 1897, I'll show you a picture here, if I can find it. There it is. This vessel, the Jemima, sailed all the way down from Brisbane in Queensland. It was used for going to lighthouses and other trips in the Queensland area. It was made in Scotland, and it sailed down here and moored here at the basin. And they were joined by another vessel that sailed up from Sydney, and that was that had a number of the New South Wales government ministers. You watched it on YouTube. Good. Well, there you are. Now you've been introduced to Home and Away. So as I was saying about the Jemima, so they actually met here, and it was here at the basin that the two governments. No, I can only show you the picture, I'm afraid. I'll show it to you again. That's the vessel there. That was the Brisbane government vessel, and they moored here it's a long trip. It's about 800 kilometers sailing down from Brisbane. It came down to here, and they negotiated the terms of what became the Australian, the Federation of Australia. Very much like the United States has its federation. Well, that was written and agreed on in principle here at the Basin all those years ago, and that was the foundation of what made Australia one country. So that's that photograph wasn't taken in the Basin, by the way, but that's the vessel that they sailed down on. Hi, Terry. Thank you for joining us. I've missed it. Hi, King. Please, if you have just joined me, I'd really appreciate it if you followed me. That would be much appreciated. I'm hoping to build up my followers. All right, let's take a little walk. Are you still hearing me all right? The signal's not looking too good, but you seem to be hearing me, which is the main thing. Thank you, David. Thank you, Linda. I'm going to walk down onto this sand here, and I'll probably won't say too much for a little while. At that time, what role did England have? Well, England ran Australia, Kathy. England was the dominant power. It protected this country, and of course, it was very much most of the people who lived here back then were English people, or English, or Irish, or Scottish, or Welsh. So they were there. It was a very dominant influence because most of the people here were. It was only after the First World War that you started to get a number more Europeans coming here, and that was obviously because of the cause of all the disruption there. There was a lot of people were convicts. It's interesting, you know. You had a lot of religious people, and you had a lot of convicts here. And I'm a genealogist. You may have spotted that on my card. That's what I do for a living. And it's always very interesting to me that Australians today would much prefer to be descended from convicts than descended from churchmen or anybody else for that matter. So they like being descended from convicts. It's a status symbol if you're descended from a convict. Well, work that one out. That's fine by me. Now, this lovely sand, people do comment on the colour of the sand. The last tour I did here, I walked down as I am now, and one of the ladies on the tour wrote to me later, and she said to me, Richard, that was beautiful, that sand. She said, I've been confined to a wheelchair for a number of years, and when you stepped down onto that sand, I could feel the sand between my toes. That's what she said to me. I could feel the sand between my toes. And I thought, what a lovely thing to say. And that's the sort of thing that really makes being a Hago guide worthwhile. That you can bring these beautiful places to people who often live in beautiful places in other parts of the world. Greenfield, MA, is that Massachusetts? Massachusetts, is it MA? Massachusetts, USA, storm, high storm anyway. So there we are, and look at, we've got some lovely watercolours there now. Oh, we're getting good reception too. Massachusetts, thank you. I do know my American geography fairly well, but I get confused sometimes. So look, I'm just going to be quiet for a while. I want you to hear the silence. I'm just going to say nothing for a little while. All right, now I want to show you another picture. If you're looking across there, you can see in the distance, that's Barrenjoey Headland. And right by there, yeah, that's a sulphur-crested cockatoo making that noise over there, Nancy. The waves, don't they sound gorgeous? See up there, that's the Barrenjoey Lighthouse. It's been there since about 1882. And I do a tour up there. I take a tour there once a month. We go for a walk up there to the top. It has the most beautiful views at the top. Plus, it's a very interesting building. And I want to show you another picture from the past. which I thought you might like. If I find it, there we are. That's almost the view. That's almost the view that we're looking at now of the lighthouse. There we are. So please, I do a number of tours in this area. I also do a Palm Beach sunrise tour. We get up very early and watch the sunrise over the Pacific, and that's rather lovely. So on a good day, it's rather lovely. So there's the lighthouse. I'll walk down in that direction, and we should see some more. Yeah, well, do you know what, Nancy? I had one of those planned earlier this week, and it was all ready to go. The birds were all organised. I told them what they had to do and be there. The butcher bird and Trevor and the Charlie, the lorikeet was there, and Cyril the cockatoo and their families. And would you believe it? Next door, they decided it would be a good day to cut down a dead tree. And they had the chainsaws going first thing in the morning. And of course, not only was it terribly noisy, the birds took off. They don't like loud noises. And so very unfortunately, we didn't able to do the bird tour. But I think I've scheduled it for another week ahead. Next week, I think it is. Wednesday in Australian time. Tuesday in the USA and Canada. So please come and see the birds in my garden. Also on Pittwater Playground on my Facebook page, you can see a video of the birds. I filmed them a couple of weeks ago. Now here's a big, I'm going to pan into this. Here's a big wallaby just sitting here. Where are you, mate? Just beyond the table there. And I'm just going to walk slowly towards it so you don't frighten. I think she may have a joey in her pouch. The way she's sitting there. I'm not sure. She's quite a large one, which means she might be pregnant. Thank you very much, Sirac. Well, we'll be doing it again. You see the little fella there, or big fella there, the wallaby there. So please, folks, if you haven't yet followed me, follow me. It's my birthday coming up in 2 days' time, and I'm trying to make 500 followers by my birthday. I'll be so excited if that happened. If you're not yet following me, please hit the follow button. And of course, if you do get any good photos, please take them and send them to me. Thank you very much, Alice. That's very much appreciated. And if you are able to leave a tip, I would appreciate it. I've had to pay for the boat trip across here today and boat back. So if you are in a position to leave a tip, that would be very much appreciated as well. All right. I want to tell you about a wonderful lady who used to live here. Her name was Mrs. Sally Morris, and you can see here a plaque in her honor. I'm going to show you some pictures of her. Mrs. Morris lived here for many years in the 19th century. I'm going to show you some photographs of her. She came here with her husband, who sadly passed away not long after she came here. And she built a cottage, and she had a farm here. There she is working on her farm. She had chickens, she had sheep, she had cows. I'll show you her house as well. I found that one there it is. There's a nice picture of her house there for you. There she is standing in front of her house, which would have been pretty much in this position here, where we're looking now. She lost her husband shortly after she came here, but she had over the years, she had gentlemen stay with her, let's say politely, and accompany her. There's a picture of her in front of the house she built here with one of her gentleman friends. And she made a living by providing butter and cheese and milk and refreshments for the sailors who came in here and moored, especially in the summer. everybody knew her. She lived here all her life. And when she died, as a mark of respect to her, Mrs. Morris, I've got another picture of her here, I think, if I can find it. That one there. Put my glasses on. There she is on the waterfront, looking back, really looking back to where we're looking now. Thank you, Alyssa, that's sweet of you. And then get one more picture of her. I think that's it there. There. All right, you get the idea. So Mrs. Morris, and when she died, the sailors all put this plinth here. Yeah, that could explain it, Serac. Thank you very much. To Mrs. Morris, Sally Morris, in memory of Mrs. Sally Morris, who resided on this spot for over 30 years. She lived here on her own or with her friends for 30 years. And then if you read that, she died in 1922, looking there. And I think the last sign is said, erected by, you can't read that probably, erected by the yachtsmen of Sydney in her honour. So Betty Morris, a very important lady in the history of the Basin. Now here we are, this little fella's quite happy sitting here. She doesn't have a Joey, but I think it's not far away. Are you all right, little one? There you are. It's quite happy to be photographed. There's a nice postcard for you. There you go. I definitely think she's pregnant. And that's why she's not moving around a lot. She's due to have her Joey very soon. All right, let's wander along a bit further. I want to show you one more spot here at the Basin. I hope you're enjoying the tour. These lovely pine trees here have been here for many, many years. They're built for protection against the heavy winds, but they're also very good for the summer. Plenty of shade. And looking across the park, looking into the bush, some lovely bushwalks up there. And this Ku-ring-gai National Park that we're in now, it goes for many miles, about 40 or 50 square miles. So it's very easy to get lost in there if you're not careful. Storm, thank you so much. Yes, it's the 4th of September, my birthday. And you know what, of course, it's the same day as Father's Day. Isn't that bad luck? So I end up people pretending they're giving me presents for both Father's Day and Father's Day and my birthday, but they all sort of resolve into one. And thank you, happy birthday, Storm, for the 18th of September. Yes, a lot of people have their birthdays in September. Does it? I don't think so, Nancy. I've actually been given one. Well, I've given myself a present already. I bought one of those pieces of equipment that you can put on the front of your front of your car, next to the steering wheel, and I'm going to be able to attach my camera to that, or my phone to that, and I'll be able to drive on tours with it attached to the car, and that's when I'll probably go up to West Head. Now I want to come along here quietly. You know those very big lizards? They're called goannas. Very, very big. They can be as long as a person from tail to nose. Well, we often get goannas down here where I'm walking to now. You know, the big, big goannas, they live in this area because there's a freshwater stream just down here. I want to show you that as well. This is a lovely spot down here. There we go. I'm just going to wander down here. So you know the goannas that I'm talking about? The big lizards? Well, they live in this area. They like it here because of the fresh water. And you always know if there's a goanna around because you can see its markings in the sand. Its long tail drags on the sand and is a line. So what I'm looking for now is a indication in the sand that there's been a goanna. Thank you, Cindy. You're all being very sweet. Thank you so much. I'm just looking. I can't see any markings for the goannas. What I can promise you is there is a goanna up there in the bush somewhere looking down at me. It's just camouflaged. And this is the little freshwater stream that are so important on Australian beaches. When the first explorers came here, this is exactly what they were looking for. Because they needed the water. And last time I was here, that was like a waterfall coming down. I'll just take another, just move it for you for a bit. You can get a shot of that. Where is it? Looking up into there. Some lovely examples of Australian flora and fauna. But there's no water coming down today. It's quite still. And I said I can't see any goanna markings. Oh, here we are. Yeah. I'm just going to... You see that mark there? That's the sort of mark that a goanna tail leaves. You see the one to the left of that branch? So there may well have been a goanna here recently. Looks like one of the rangers has been here with their truck as well. I'm just looking around. They often like to sit up in the trees and just look down. A bit cautious. All right. And another shot looking back at the basin. Good chance for a postcard if anybody wants to hit the button. Thank you, Sirek. And once again, I'll be quiet so you can hear the sounds. Sherry, hi. Thank you for joining us. So please, folks, I'd love to get your reviews at the end of the tour. Please drop a review. If you haven't followed me yet, please do that too. I appreciate it. And if you are able to leave a tip, because I have had to pay for this trip today, the boat fare, tips would be appreciated to cover my costs. There's another little wallaby there. Oh, thank you, Leslie. That's very sweet of you. Just going to go in on this one. I know you like the wallabies. We haven't seen it. Oh, you've got a joey. Yes, we've got a joey. Oh, no, we haven't. Yes, we have. Yes, we have. Oh, no, we haven't. Sorry. Taking my glass off. Thank you, Terry. That's sweet of you. I think this one has got a joey in the pouch. The pouch is quite large on that one. And I think the joey is in the pouch, but looking out. There are you, mate. There you are. The joey is in the pouch. Yes, there we are. You can see the... Where are you moving? Sorry, I'll just get back and get pan back for that. You can see, oh, sorry, I missed the best of that. It was moving away. Okay. Hope you're enjoying the silence. And isn't it wonderful, you know? I've got this place to myself. There isn't a single person here. I've got it all to myself. 9 o'clock in the morning. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you for following me. Please hit the follow button if you haven't already done so. If you can't see a follow button, it means you're already following me, which is appreciated. Hit the follow button. I'm trying to reach 500 before the 4th of September, my birthday. Yeah, well, this is the camping ground, Nancy. Here, we're looking at it now. You can see that there are power. Leslie, I hope you're enjoying it. Thank you so much. You can see the little red for the power sources. So yes, this is the camping ground area. But right now we're early spring, and we don't have nobody camping here. But early in the season yet. There's another lovely shot looking back to where we came from. Do you remember when we got on the boat at Palm Beach? Well, that's Palm Beach right across there. I'll pan in for you again. That's where hopefully the boat is coming from to pick me up to take me back. Oh, you see them? Yes, Nancy, that's it. I'm a very primitive camper. I carry everything I need on my back when I go camping. I don't stay on camping sites. I like to pitch my tent somewhere quite wild. Nancy, as I said, all my camping gear is on my back. I don't plug into any electricity. I was in the British Army. I was trained in the British Army for survival techniques. So I know how to survive in the bush, and I like to put them into practice. Thank you, Kathy. Well, I hope you follow me. We do lots of other lovely tours in this area. The boats go about every half an hour, Sirac. Thank you, Kathy. That's very sweet of you. So there's the lighthouse. I think it's $20 Australian for the return trip. So your tips would help to cover my costs. That's all I ask. Any other tips I get over and above my cost to go to a charity here in Australia for children with cancer. But obviously when I spend money on a tour like this one, I do appreciate it if I get my cost covered. So there's the lighthouse. And we do a walk up to there, walk to the lighthouse. I also do another walk. You see the strip of sand there? That's called a tombola. That's the strip of sand that connects Barrenjoey Headland with Palm Beach. There's Palm Beach starting there. And I do another tour called Palm Beach Sunrise. I get it very early on the other side of that tombola, and we look out over the Pacific and enjoy the sun as it rises. Yeah, okay, thank you, Storm. So that's another tour that you might be interested in. Palm Beach Sunrise goes about 6 o'clock in the morning. Oh, thank you, Leslie. Yes, always enjoy this. Well, I enjoy all my tours, really. It's a lot of fun. Okay, right. Now, I'm going to go back to the wharf because I'm getting a message saying the battery is starting to lose power. And that's not a good sign. But what I'm going to do is go back to the jetty, and I'm going to plug in my additional power socket, and then I'll take my mic out, but you'll still be able to hear me talking, and hopefully you'll be able to stay with me for the boat trip back to Palm Beach. So let's just walk back to the jetty. Bear with me. There's another one. There's another little wallaby there taking some water, saying hello. There we are. So yes, I've got an alternate power source and I'm going to plug it in. Yeah, would you like that, Nancy? Well, if you can stick with me, you may not hear my voice as well as you are hearing it at the moment because I'm using a microphone attached to my lapel. But I'll have to take that out in order to use the power source. That should be all right. I've never done this before, but I've always been frustrated on this trip to the Basin when the power starts to pack up, 3/4 of the way through the trip. You are beautiful, aren't you? Look at this fella here. Hasn't moved. There's another lovely shot of a bush wallaby. You see him there? You are gorgeous colours. Look at the lovely markings on his coat. And quite tame. Quite used to people. That's his favourite seat. You happy there? How about that? Okay. Look at him. Look at the little ears. Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it beautiful? Having a little doze. Not too hot a day, but quite friendly, not scared of me. Like a king. Well, he might be the king of the wallabies for all I know. He's certainly got the spot where Mrs. Morris, the lady I told you about, where her house was. So it could be Mrs. Morris come back as a wallaby to enjoy Palm Beach. Thanks, mate. Enjoy your day. You are lovely. There we go. Not bothered at all. Remember, these are wild animals. They're not animals in a zoo. They're completely wild. They can go where they want, do what they want. Isn't it peaceful? Yep. Totally happy in his environment and not bothered by me or anybody else. It's probably when the children come here to camp, the younger children probably take an interest in them. I want to show you something here. Do you see that on the ground? That's a sign of spring. That's a bottle brush from the bottle brush tree, which is probably just above me. Just looking up. Oh, it's not. Somebody's picked it and dropped it. But anyway, that's a bottle brush. And hi, Louise. Okay, I'm just going to sit us down on this table so that I can make the change. Bear with me. Just look around, you can see outside while I'm doing it. And I'm going to plug in my additional power source. Now, let's see how that goes. All right, can you still hear me? Can you still hear me? Good. Okay. Oh, now I've got my power source in, and I've hopefully going to be able to keep the tour going as the boat comes back to pick us up. I'm just looking across to Palm Beach. Be with us soon. Thank you, guys. So let's just look out here, enjoy the view. and enjoy the sounds. Thank you, Storm. Thank you, Louise in Holly, Michigan. I had a look at you on the map, by the way, Louise. How about that? I know where Holly, Michigan is now. I do like knowing where you come from in the States. It's a good way for me to learn about American geography, knowing where you guys are as well. Yeah, that's a sulfur-crested cockatoo making that noise. You can see through the trees. And those are the rangers' houses over there, buildings. As you can see, there are vehicles over there, but those vehicles are come down on old tracks. It's not a main road. There's no road here. You can only get here by water, but obviously the rangers are able to use the tracks to get down here. The key to it is keeping the environment safe and not damaging it with vehicles running through. Just pointing along there, Virginia Beach. There we are. Rather a nice shot of Pittwater. Again, it's very quiet here today. At the weekends, this is quite a busy area. Lots of boats out, but right now it's what is it? Friday morning, and everything is very quiet and still. Thank you, Jessica. That's very sweet of you. As I said, I do appreciate your tips, particularly now because I've had to pay for the boat trip today. So any tips will go to cover that will be appreciated. Thank you very much if you're able to. Alternatively, or subsequently, I'd also love to get your reviews of the tour. Let me know what you think of it. I'm still a fairly new guide. I've been doing this for about 6 months now. You can always learn, even if you've been doing it for 5 years. So any comments, much appreciated as well. And please follow me. Anyway, somebody have a look. Can you have a look and see how many followers I've got now? I think it was 480 when I started the tour, but I can't look while I'm doing the tour. So somebody have a look. And if anybody else could be so kind as to post my Pittwater Playground Facebook page. Thank you, Patricia. If you can post my Pittwater Playground Facebook page address. It's also on here. If you have a look at that, take a postcard of that. That's got my Pittwater Playground page on it as well. Thank you, Nancy. That's very much appreciated. Thank you. Oops. Thank you, Judy. That's sweet of you. Yep, 4th of September. I'm not going to tell you my age, though. You can guess if you like. Plugging the power in as well. It started to. There we go. Yeah, so if you mind the technical issues here. 494. Oh, look at that. 6 to go. 6 to go. So close to 500 followers. How about that? It's very hard powering up your phone. Oh, yours was yesterday. How about that, Louise? Happy birthday for yesterday. Yeah, I know. 9 months after Christmas, is that what they say? And 9 months after Christmas is September. And a lot of babies born in September. Yeah, something like that anyway. Yeah. Sorry, folks. I'm just trying to get everything straightened out here. There we are. Hopefully. All right. There's a little boat just coming in now. Little tinny arriving. We'll see if we can spot that. There we are. It's just arriving. It's not the boat we're getting on, not the one I'm waiting for. But looks like the one. In fact, the one I'm waiting for, you can see it there in the distance. They're very reliable, these boats. They arrive and leave on time. And it's that one is just coming in the distance there. Where are you? There you are, somewhere out there. So very reliable. And if we can keep the power going, I'll be able to show you us going into two other. Thank you, Robert. We must be up to close to 500 now. How about getting to 500 on this tour? That would be wonderful. 500 followers, please, please, please. Hit that follow button, folks, if you can see it. That'd be wonderful. Thank you. Those little vessels just arrived here. It's a water taxi. How about that? You see the boat here? Now, this is a water taxi. It's just the same as your taxis that you get in the street, except he goes around picking up people from water spots and taking them where they want to go. So that is a pink water taxi. Isn't that beautiful? There we are. There's quite a few of them around on the Pittwater, giving people rides to various spots that aren't accessible by road. There's a water taxi heading off. I think they're just doing a bit of a tourist trip, having a look around. Maybe they're going fishing. Oops, thank you, Robert, for following me. You must be. Who wants to be the 500th follower, hey? Oh, goodness me, what a privilege, I don't think. What a privilege. Oh, look, the sun's peeping through. That's a newie. There we are. We've seen the sun for the first time today. There you are. The sun's just doing its best to peep through the clouds for us. And it was late getting up today. It was the sun was late rising today. There. So nobody's tried to guess my age. That's why I put the camera on me. Anybody want to make a guess? I know it's rude. It's actually rude to guess a woman's age, isn't it? 35. Oh, you're so sweet. No. I'll have to tell you now, won't I? I'll have to tell you now. So I've asked you the question. 49. Oh, good stuff. That's good. In fact, if I show you there, got all my own hair. How about that? And that's not dyed. That's my own hair. Get the camera up. There we are. I'm just showing you around. 54. Hey, I'm doing well. I've been very fortunate. I've had a very fit life. I've been able to play a lot of sport at quite a high level, done a lot of traveling, and yes, I've been able to look after myself pretty well. The last couple of years, I had an injury to my foot. An injury to my foot, which has kept me out of the water. I haven't been able to swim, but the doctor, just yesterday, I saw my doctor, and he said, yep, you're right, you can go back in the sea now. So I'm very much looking forward to that, being able to go for a swim. Well, the truth of the fact is, guys, tomorrow I'll be older. Tomorrow, there you go. Tomorrow I'll be 71. Yes, indeed. 71. Yes, indeed. It feels old, but I don't feel old personally. I feel pretty good. So yeah, 71 tomorrow. How about that? Thank you. 71 on Sunday. 71 on Sunday. That's the 4th of September. All right. Thank you so much. Yeah, well, I've said I've done all right for myself. I've kept fit. I haven't smoked. I used to drink quite a lot. I did smoke a bit of that wacky backy from time to time in the old days, but don't touch that anymore. And always out looking good and running and being out there. 1951, yeah, I was born 4th of September 1951. Now, that's me. So I guess you did. You did. Thank you so much, Louise. You're very sweet. Just getting this back again. I've got the charger going into it now, which does tend to cause the camera to jump around a bit. Let's just go back. You're sick of looking at me. Let's go back and have a look at the view again, and we'll see the boat coming in. Where has she got to now? Oh, there she is, right across the water. That's the Mara. That's the vessel we came over on. And that's the vessel we'll be going back to Palm Beach on, providing the power holds out. I hope it does. Lovely little boat. Thank you very much, Tori. So please, if you do, no grey hair, Louis, and I don't. I think I'm a person who's never really worried about anything too much. I'm a person who gets out and deals with it, rather than sitting around worrying about it. So, funnily enough, I'm not the sort of person who likes watching travel programs because I want to be out doing it. I don't like seeing other people out there having a good time. I like to be doing it myself. That's a bit selfish, I know, but I like to be having the adventures myself, not watching other people have them. So I like to think with Hago, I'm taking you on my adventures, and I like that idea. Gianni, thank you so much for following. We must be close to 500 now. I'm getting terribly excited, and I'm going to love you all very, very much if we do reach 500 followers today, because I'll have to wait for another week otherwise. So come on, folks, hit that follow button. I would appreciate, and it'll be worth your while. You know that. Got lots of lovely tours up here on the Pittwater. Next week, what are we doing next week? I think we're going down to Sydney to the Opera House and the. Thank you. The Opera House and the Harbour Bridge. I think that's next week's tour, if I'm correct. I think we're also trying to do the bird tour again as well, because the birds weren't around last time because of my neighbour deciding to cut a tree down. Thank you, Storm. That's sweet of you. So yes, I've had a pretty good life. I've had a good, healthy life. I've been blessed, and I have, I've got nothing to complain about. Nothing to complain about. Can you still hear me all right? I think you can. I think you're picking up what I'm saying. So there's the ferry over there at Bonnie Doon. We'll plug in again. Can somebody have a look and see how many followers I've got now? It must be close to 500. I think it says it on my channel page. You can't see that when you're doing a tour, you see. You can't actually see those things. Thank you, Louise. Hi, Jenny. Well, you're a bit late for the tour, Jenny. We're about to head home. We've had a look around the basin. We've done the trip across, as the people here can tell you. And we're now waiting for our little boat, which is just across there on the other side of the basin, waiting for us to come back and pick us up. Hi, Jenny. Kandrama, Annapurna. That sounds like a name that you'd hear in the Himalayas. And no aids necessary. Storm, thank you for that. That's kind of you. You can see over there in the distance, you remember all that noise that we heard? I told you it was the sulfur-crested cockatoos. Well, they're all up in those trees over there eating the, I'll pan in if I can. You can just see them in the distance there. You see them over there? That's the sulfur-crested cockatoos. They're up in the trees eating the seeds that have just come out in the spring. making a lot of noise, arguing amongst themselves. They're always arguing. They're not actually, they're very large white birds with the yellow crest on them. They're not actually, they're so welcome. They're good to see in the garden, and they come into my garden a lot. The problem is they get very nasty if you don't feed them. And they'll rip your pot plants apart, and they'll eat your house. They've got very, very strong beaks. I'm going to try to zoom in further for you. How's that? 497. Yeah, three more followers. Come on, folks. 3 more followers till I get to 500. Do me a favor. 3 more followers I need. Thank you for that, Louise. 497, eh? I need 3 more. Now, my good friend David Catt, who is normally with me on these tours, he's in California. He's not been able to make it today. He'd be chasing you up, don't worry. But those of you who have followed me, thank you. You were indeed, Cheryl. You're one of my first followers. Yeah, squirrels can be a pain as well. There we are. So that was the sulfur-crested. Normally you can get much closer to them. They are quite tame. But they've decided that's where they're going to sit, over there. And so yeah, there's the ferry backing up. And it's going to be heading over in this direction now to pick us up. There's actually some more cockatoos in that tree just over there. Maybe once on the boat, you... Yeah, well, I'll do my best soon. I'll do my best. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you so much for being here. I know it's getting late for you now. There you are. And here comes the ferry. We better concentrate on getting on the ferry now. Here she comes, the reliable Myra. The reliable Myra here to pick us up and take us back across the harbor, back to Palm Beach. Here we go. There's the skipper up there in his cabin, steering us in. Good shot, sir.
Come on, Ricky, run ahead. Okay, run ahead.
Thank you, pal. There you go. Yeah. Sorry to shake you around, folks.
Every now and again you back on some point, you used to go all the time with Sunny. And then one day we were just out to leave and I was just forward fire. And there was this warning that was about that big on this big. Oh, really? Yeah. The biggest one.
All right, here we go. All right, say goodbye to the Basin. Here we are. Lead the Basin to the Wallabies. Due in Japan. Oh, yes, there's another tour in Japan. Well, enjoy your tour in Japan, Katie. Thank you so much for being here. And please, if any of you haven't yet followed me, hit the follow button. I would appreciate it. We're so close to 500 followers now. We're going to be going along the Ku-ring-gai side of Pittwater now, and we'll be stopping off at 2 wharfs to pick up people. I'm going to cross over to this side so we get a better view. That's where we were just now. So I hope you enjoyed the basin. It's particularly nice when it's quiet. Thank you. Yes, Lorne, it is, isn't it? There's lots of lovely places to live around the world. This is definitely one of them. And you can see through the heads there, looking across between West Head and Barrenjoey Headland, where you can see the lighthouse there. That's the Central Coast. Take about half an hour to get there by boat and about 3 hours to get there by road. Yes, Storm, aren't the silence? The silence is nice. Look at the rock formations there. I like to think that it looks the same as it looked when the very first explorers came here in the 1780s. This is how it was then, and that shows that nature has been looked after here. I'm trying to spot anything in the water, like we have penguins. Sometimes you see them in the water. We have dolphins here, and I've seen dolphins here as well. When I kayak across, the dolphins are not so keen on motor-powered vessels, but when you're in a kayak, they're not scared, and they will come in quite close when they're around. So yes, I've seen dolphins here. Of course, the water is also full of fish. And all these little beaches I was telling you about where the pirates and the convicts used to set up camp, you can just imagine them, can't you? They wouldn't have probably been on that one because that doesn't seem to have any fresh water. They certainly would have gone into the basin. And look at the lovely sandstone rocks there, which have fallen down the hills over the years, rolled down to the seashore, and set up camp there. Oh, good, Louise. Where was that, Louise? Where did you see the dolphins? Oh, look at the sun. It's really making an effort now. Where are you, Mr. Sun? I know you're there. There you are. Oh, in the Atlantic. Oh, yes. We're heading off to that jetty there. Ah, so Louise, it wasn't a Hago tour. It was you were on the water. Is that right? Is that what you're telling me? Or was it a Hago tour to see the dolphins? Oh, right. How lovely is that? There's actually a kookaburra in the tree just up there, but I'm afraid you can't see it very well from here. It was a boat tour. Oh, super. Where did you go out from, Louise? Oh, Virginia Beach, all right. This beach here is called Currawong. It's actually named after an Australian bird called a currawong. There's lots of currawongs in there. That's actually owned by the National Union here in Australia. And it's meant to be a residential area, a place for union members to take a holiday there. So it's restricted to union members. But a few years ago, somebody decided it would be a good idea to build a larger complex there, like a tourist complex with all the shenanigans, like a Gold Coast facility. And the local people were very much opposed to it. There was a lot of debate and a lot of argument. And in fact, in the end, they were told they couldn't do it, which is probably a very good idea. There's an interesting picture there. If you have a look across there, you see those tall trees there with sort of a yellow flower on them. Behave. Those are cabbage trees. You see them there? And they have a flowering right now, and their flowers are yellow and look very much like a cabbage. They're quite rare. We have them at Bilgola, the beach that I go to for my tour. But those are cabbage trees, and you can see there the yellow flower on them, which, as I said, it's shaped like a cabbage. And there you go. You can Google that if you want to know more information about the cabbage tree. We didn't stop at Currawong because there was nobody who wanted to get off, and there's nobody who wanted to get on. But there probably will be people to get on it and net off. And the next one, this is Mackerel Beach, coming up here now. And this has a lot more beach houses, but also retirement homes as well. We're going to go in there. And so it's a popular place to live. The biggest risk here, of course, is bushfires. Now, the Australian bush is actually designed to burn. It's how it replenishes itself. So it's quite normal for the bush to burn. And when you're living in a house like the ones just up there, surrounded by bush, you are at risk from bushfires. Because once a bushfire starts up here in the heat of the summer, there's not a lot you can do about it. So there's very high insurance costs on these houses. You can see somebody's building another one along there. But those are your classic summer houses or retirement homes. And there are quite a few of them here at Mackerel. It's called Mackerel because the early fishermen caught mackerel off the coast here, went out to sea and brought the mackerel in, and this was the beach they brought them to clean them up and prepare them to be shipped down to Sydney for market. That was the reason it was called Mackerel Beach. It looks like we're coming in there. Yes, they were. They were more. In fact, 2020. No, sorry, not 2020. There was earlier fires here. I think was it about 2010, something like that. And it was a very serious fire, and all of this was on fire. All the bush behind there was on fire. I actually recall standing over at Palm Beach, looking over the water and talking to a guy, and he pointed out a house over here, and he said, "Look at that house there. That's my house, and I think it's going to get taken by the flames. Would you like to buy it from me at a very good price?" And I didn't think about it for too long. I said, no, I don't think I do want to buy it because it was very likely at the time that it was going to be taken out by the bushfire. As it turned out, it survived. It's still there today. The house I could have bought for a pittance, but I declined. I think it was probably a good move. I wouldn't have been. Well, I would have quite liked living over here, but not all. I'm quite happy where I live too as well. So there's some nice views of some rock faces there overlooking the beach, and there's some more of those flowers I was telling you about on the cabbage tree in the distance down there. So here we are. We're coming into Mackerel Beach. few people waiting to catch the boat right across to Pittwater, across to Palm Beach. We're coming in here now. All on time, all very good, all very well organized. Maybe they'll give us a... How you doing? I'm live streaming to the United States and Canada. Do you want to give them a wave? There we are. They're going to give you a wave. There we are. There we are. There we are. There we are. They're giving you a wave, the people here, and they're waving back. There you are. That was very sweet of them. Thank you. Oh, in London, sorry, I keep saying, stand out. Thanks for giving us their name. Yeah, cabbage trees. There we are. Yes, they probably live over here, and they're heading back for the weekend. So I hope you don't mind me filming you. There we are. There we are, and that's Mackerel Beach. There we are. Little cottages along there, and then down the end there's a lagoon in that area. You can't see it from here, but there's a lagoon just behind those trees there. All right, we'll pick these people up, and then we'll be heading back to Palm Beach. I'm so pleased the battery seems to be holding out. I'm very, very encouraged by that. It does tend to cause the phone to wobble a bit when you've got the battery plugged in. That's the only thing. And apparently the sound isn't quite so good. The mic that I use normally is a voice-reducing mic, which means that it cuts down the background noises, but it's not too bad here today. Has anybody got any other questions you have for me? How are we hitting the numbers? Have we got 500 yet? I'm so close to 500 followers. If anybody's watching now, oh good, Patricia. If anybody's watching or listening in now and hasn't followed me yet, please do. I'm so keen to get to 500 today. Anybody there hasn't followed me, please hit that follow button. We do lots of other tours up here on Pittwater, and I'm sure you'd enjoy them. I certainly enjoy having you come along. And of course, if you get any good postcards, then there's my Facebook Pittwater Playground. Post the postcards on there. I usually put a few pictures on there as well. And of course, if you're able to, I do appreciate your tips because that will cover the cost of the boat trip fare that I had to pay to come here. So that would be appreciated as well. Okay, it looks like those people have come over for the weekend. It's Friday here, Friday morning, so they're probably having a weekend here over here at Mackerel Beach, which is a pretty good way. Looks like they had plenty of stuff to keep them entertained. I did see 6 bottles of wine there amongst that little lot, so that's going to keep them happy. Because you've really got to bring everything over here. There's no shops over here, anything like that. You've got to bring everything across with you on the boat. Yes, and there we are. We can get some more looking down the beach there. I'll cut it back to there again. You can see the cabbage trees over there in the distance, and their flowers. Looks like a shallow, not as wide a beach as Palm Beach. Well, it depends if the tide is in or out, of course. I'd say the tide is in at the moment. And Palm Beach has several beaches, of course. It has Snapperman Beach, it has Station Beach, and it has the main Palm Beach, which looks out over the Pacific. Which is quite a wide beach. Palm Beach is quite a wide beach, yes, indeed. All right, let's go home. Sweeping around. I do so much like Barrenjoey Headland. Really is iconic. And you You see one of the catamarans that we saw earlier heading off back across to Ettalong, which is the beach that they come in on over in the Central Coast. Panning around again.
Howdy.
How you doing, mate?
Have your ticket, please.
Hold that for a second, will you?
I'll get it in. I'll get it in.
I'll get. Yeah, thank you. Man, what's my ticket? Well, I don't know where it is. Hold on. Here it is. I've got my ticket now. Whoops, sorry to wobble you around, folks. There we go. I've got my ticket back now. Okay, Leslie, thank you so much for being with us. I hope you'll all probably, a lot of you will be ready to go to bed after this, so I hope you sleep well, and I hope you wake up tomorrow feeling refreshed with some happy memories of your visit to Pittwater and Palm Beach. I'm still looking around for anything in the water. Good night, Leslie. Thank you so much for being here. I go all around to there again. Oh, is it? Oh, it's 6:30 p.m. You must be on the west coast. Am I right? Of the U.S. Maybe I'm wrong there too. oh, in Canada at Calgary. Right. My geography is not great. I know where Vancouver is. I've been there. But I haven't been to Calgary. I was actually planning to come back after my first trip to Canada, which is the one I did to Vancouver Island. And then COVID kicked in, and I had to cancel my trip. I was planning to come to Calgary, and in fact, right the way across Canada, all the way across to Brunswick. That was my holiday, but I wasn't able to do it, as I said, because of COVID. Penny. Hi, Reg. We're just about finishing our tour now, I'm afraid. We're heading back to Palm Beach. Looking over there, you'll see it in the distance. Come and see Bamford Jasper in the mountain. Yes, I was planning to go there as well, Leslie. That was part of my trip. I was taking that wonderful train. I was going to take that wonderful train that comes across, starts in Vancouver, right across Canada. But unfortunately, as I said, COVID came in, and all the traveling, the plane flights were even cancelled. You couldn't fly, you couldn't travel. Unfortunately, that's in fact why I got involved in Hago. I started to follow a few of the tours and go on them. And then I thought, well, maybe I live in a spot people would like to see as well. And so that's why I set up my Pittwater Playground tours, which you're on today. But yes, I'll definitely be there in Canada very soon. I'm hoping to go there next year. I'll become the voyager then, instead of the tour guide. There's the ferry building right in front of us now. That's where we're going.
looking now, you can. If there's anybody still with us from the UK, you may know a TV program called Home and Away. I actually do a tour called Summer Bay Sunset, and you can see the jetty just up there in the distance below the lighthouse. Well, that used to have a very lovely restaurant on it called the Boathouse, which was used for filming much of Home and Away. But unfortunately, it had to be knocked down because it was full of asbestos and quite dangerous. And so they're now rebuilding the restaurant there, and it's also a seaplane point, and also a store, fishing store, and fish and boat hire. So that's being rebuilt at the moment. It should be ready in about a year, I think, and they'll be able to go back there and film Home and Away again. That's the Home and Away spot. If anybody with me who knows the program I'm talking about, that's where it's filmed. And looking up there on the hill, see that building there with the 3 levels. That's the tallest building here in Pittwater. I don't know who got the right to build it here. Probably a local councillor sometime in the past suddenly swung it so he could build it. It's not particularly attractive, but it'll do, I suppose. But apart from that, all the residences here are just private. 2 people, 2 families, 2 levels, and pretty laid back. Okay, so here we are. We're coming back into Palm Beach now. I will, Leslie. I'll definitely. I definitely intend to come through Canada and come through Banff probably next year. Look at that. There we are. See in the distance there, it's if you ever came to Australia, came to Sydney, and you're in the centre, CBD, there's very good bus services up here all the way to Palm Beach. That was one of them, just went past then. Very regular bus services, and not expensive at all. Here we are, back where we started. I got you back safe and sound. Whoops! Oh, that wasn't such a good thing. Got you back safe and sound. All right, let's go in. The jetty a bit hard there.
Right, you want to just run back and then we can go on this one? Just run back?
I'm filming for an live streaming to America and Canada right now. They're people who belong to Hager, and it's a service all over the world. And there's about 90 people on the tour at the moment. I've just taken them over to the Basin and back.
Yeah,
Lovely.
shame the sun wasn't shining.
Well, it is. Do you mind if I film you? Are you locals, or they can hear what you're saying now? Are you locals?
Yeah.
You live at Mackerel. You live at Mackerel all year round?
All year round.
Really? So these people live at Mackerel all year round. I was telling them that a few years ago, when there was the bushfires there, a guy who lived over there offered to sell me his house at a reduced price.
It has its challenges.
There we are. Sorry?
It has its challenges, I said.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'll
See ya. Bye-bye. Have a good day. All right, they're gone. That's nice. Got to meet some of the locals. Oh, my ticket. I found it. Thank you, buddy. See ya. All right, we made it, folks. We made it back to Palm Beach, and it's a comfortable trip. I found my ticket, so that's all good. I'm legal, and we'll just wander up here towards my car. Bear with me, and I'll say goodbye to you up here. The power's held out, which is great. Seagull saying goodbye to you.